Once upon a time, there lived a rose flower that was incredibly proud of its beautiful looks. The only disappointment the rose had was that it grew alongside an ugly cactus. Every day, the rose would be ready with an insult that it would pour upon the cactus for his looks, but the cactus would remain silent and not react. No matter how hard every other plant in the garden tried to make the flower understand and discourage it from insulting the cactus, the rose was adamant and swayed by her good looks. One day, a pine tree growing next to the blossomed rose said that it wished it was a beautiful flower and hoped it could also be as appealing one day. Another tree said to the pine tree that there was no need to be sad, as no one can have everything. Hearing the conversation, the rose replied to the trees and that it seemed like she was the most beautiful flower in the whole forest. Listening this, the sunflower raised its yellow head and said, "Why do you say that? In the whole forest, there are many beautiful flowers, and you are just one of them." To this, the rose replied that it saw everyone looking at her and admiring her. The next moment, the rose used her cunning wit by humiliating the cactus by calling it ugly and full of thorns. The other trees quickly replied that this was shameful talk by the rose, as no one can decide what exactly is beautiful. And the rose flower itself had so many thorns. As the days passed by, the rose looked at the cactus and continued insulting him. The cactus never replied or even got upset, and instead advised the rose that God did not create any form of life without a purpose. Spring passed by and the weather turned hot. Life in the forest became difficult without the rain. The rose began to wilt. One day the rose saw a sparrow stick its beak into the cactus and fly away. The rose was amazed by this and asked the pine tree what the sparrow was doing. The pine tree replied that the bird was getting water from the cactus, which was hurting the cactus due to the holes created inside it. But it could not see the bird suffer, and therefore it was helping them. The rose felt ashamed to ask the cactus for water. But finally, when she did ask for help, the cactus kindly agreed. The sparrows filled their beaks with water and watered the rose's roots. Story summary. Once there was a rose that was very proud of her beautiful looks. The only disappointment she nursed was that she grew alongside an ugly cactus. Every other day the rose would insult the cactus' looks, but the cactus kept quiet. All the other plants, flowers and trees around the rose tried to stop her from bullying the cactus. But the rose was too swayed by her beauty to listen to anyone. Spring passed and summer arrived. There was no rain for a long time. The once proud rose slowly began to lose its color and started to wilt. The rose saw a sparrow stick its beak in the cactus and drank water from it. The rose felt ashamed to ask for help from the cactus, but finally it did ask. The kind cactus agreed and the sparrows watered the rose. Moral of the story. The moral of this short story is not to judge anyone by their appearance. In the story, the rose judged the cactus as ugly just because of his outer appearance. But in reality, it was the cactus who helped a rose to stay alive during the summers. when there was no rain. Thank you for watching Lingovate. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments how language learning inspires you. See you next time on Lingovate for more language adventures. Goodbye.